بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. قال الله تعالى: أجيب دعوة الداعي إذا دعاني فليستجيبوا لي وليؤمنوا بي لعلهم يرشدون. أما بعد. All praise be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most magnificent, the most beneficent, the most merciful. All praise be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all his ni'mah and favors that he has bestowed upon us. All praise be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us the divine guidance, the tawfiq and the life and the ilm to be present in this gathering today. The question today is slightly a bit of tasawwuf, slightly in regards to certain situations that a person could happen to him. What are you reciting? Sometimes also there is another topic, but I'm not sure if you're going to get to it. But it's an important one. Everything is important. The benefits of seclusion, but I'm not sure really if the title actually is it saying it in a positive manner or is it saying it in a negative manner? But let's see. It goes, Sheikh, it has been my routine for a long time. After Fajr Salat, I go into seclusion. I dedicate an hour to 1.5 hours for my wada'if, for my routines, for my afkar, for my dhikr, and I dedicate in seclusion this amount of time daily. I have experienced the following on which I have a question. The question is the following, which is important. Sometimes during meditation, sometimes during muraqabah, sometimes during my remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I feel a movement inside of my body. Right, Muhammad? You do, right? MashaAllah. Sometimes during my remembrance, I feel a movement inside. In regards to which I have made mention before. You know, the haraka, this movement, sometimes gives me happiness, sometimes gives me ladha, actually pleasure. And I feel very comfortable and warmth in this state that I experience. Is everybody with me so far? Yeah. Now, whatever he's saying beyond this is his opinion. Whatever in his own question, he is come to certain conclusions which are his opinion, not necessarily correct. Sometimes this is because of increase in my dhikr. This happens. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Now, I don't know where the people at home were when the internet connection cut. What was I saying? Nobody? The movement. What was I saying?
That feeling is not the students, ours.
So this person is describing his state, right? He goes, in the creation of this kayfiyah, this state, seems that seclusion plays a big part in it. Again, this is his opinion. But I have heard you saying that these states are praiseworthy, they're good, but they're not the goal and objective. But now I have a question in regards to it. Now I've come to my question. The question is, if this state that I'm experiencing is not the goal, it's not the objective. Maqsood is not the goal, not the objective. But does it assist in getting you to the goal and objective? Do you get the question now? And now he brings his own statement again. I mean, everything is his own statement, but he's also like sort of, what he does is he says he's saying a question, and then he goes back trying to refer some state and to some other action that he might be doing, which is not necessarily true, and the Sheikh's going to put him right on that too. You know, the Sheikh's not going to let it go, right? He goes, when I do this adhkar in a gathering, I do not experience it. Again, it's his experience. If I do it in seclusion, I experience it. Is it that these actions done in seclusion are more merit-worthy, or are more bring a person more closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? I have done these adhkar in seclusion. I have done them in a gathering, but I do not feel that same pleasure as I do when I do these adhkar and these in seclusion. Answer, big question, 4 lines, Hazrat dedicates to it. But there's a guy who asks Hazrat a very small question, but Hazrat dedicates over a page to the answer. So I'm not sure we get there today. Because no, it doesn't, the state itself is not something that is guaranteed to get you to your goal and objective, the movement. And you know, the way that you've written that in seclusion you feel this and all, this is all, because that's got nothing. It's all irrelevant. All irrelevant. That in seclusion you feel more, and if you do dhikr in a gathering you feel less. That's your personal experience, but that has got nothing to do with actually being successful in the path itself. You get that? Remember, that doesn't mean that Sheikh is denying that he doesn't experience it, but it's not something that it's not something that you should give preference to. If I do it here, I'm going to get more. It's nothing like that. But it goes, remember, by acquiring this state, a person's heart will be more inclined towards the remembrance of Allah whilst he's in that state, when there is movement inside of his spirituality, inside of his heart. And a person will have more eagerness, and he will be more inclined towards the remembrance of Allah. And it will assist him in doing amal. Kayfiyat assist, by the way. In the path, if a person experiences something, those experiences assist in his furtherment. Not that the kayfiyah in itself is furthering him. You get it? They assist in the furtherment. And remember, for something to assist you in your furtherment, in your betterment, this is the asal and the usul and the principle of the science. What is it? That a person somehow get continuity in his a'mal, in his routine, in his deeds. And this happens in this path by sometimes a person experiencing something by which he is able to get that continuity. You get it now? Motivation, it motivates him further. So the question, all that, the aspect of his question in which seclusion, non-seclusion, and sajda, and this, Sheikh said, don't pay any attention to all that. He didn't even bring that into the answer, but he did bring the main points into the answer that needed to be answered, right? Any questions? Did we all understand it? Did we all understand it? Ismail? MashaAllah.
Sheikh mentioned that this is your experience, but this will motivate.
It motivate. Motivate in Urdu, what will be? Shock. A person's eagerness, shock will increase towards that. Right? Now, if you have questions in regards to the movement, I've already told you what to do. The difference between takalluf. Takalluf is that a person is sitting in a gathering, he's not at ease, he's sitting with takalluf, meaning that he's going out of his way to please somebody. A guest comes to your home, and you are sitting with your guest. So now, are you sitting with your guest at ease and comfort as you normally would in your home? Or are you sitting with some takalluf before the guest, meaning that you're sitting not in your normal, natural way, but there is a different way that you're sitting? Answer the question first. Normal way or not the normal way? You go out of your way to sit in a certain way, yes or no? Huh? Oh, it depends. It depends who it is. Yeah, that's why I use the word guest, not a friend. Oh, well, there's always takalluf in front of a guest comes, you're going to sit with respect, you're going to dress with respect, right? First of all, you're not going to meet him in your shorts, are you? Right? Are you? It depends. Not going to his house. So the question is good. This question is going to lead us to the end of the session, most probably. Small questions, small answers, but each one with some detail. Because Sheikh, my heart desires that my heart and your heart be connected. Important. That my heart and your heart be connected. Because up till now, that connection has not been established. He's saying, right? There seems to be some takalluf in it. Now the word takalluf means there seems to be meaning that that there's not comfort between the two. We're not comfortable yet, right? Or either that, or the state. I don't feel there's a natural state here. I feel there's something, still some protocols that are being followed here. And there are many things due to this takalluf, or the word that I'm using, takalluf, this undesirable state or uncomfortable state that I feel, and the uneasiness that I'm not at ease, and due to that, there are many things I don't ask. Answer. Because this is not takalluf. This is not what you mentioned. This is the state that you're saying that you have, that you don't feel at ease. This is not what you're saying. This is adab. This is manners, morals, etiquette. You are getting the two mixed up. Don't get the two mixed up, that in respect of somebody that you're sitting in a certain way or talking to that person in a certain way is different than having takalluf. Takalluf is, because then he goes to, and because takalluf, when a person has takalluf, when a person is uneasy in a situation and he's not at ease, then he goes, his heart goes into a state of inqibad. Inqibad means that he feels constricted. What does he feel? Constricted. His heart feels constricted. It's that when a person sits next to that person, he feels that he just wants to move away. He wants to leave that person. He feels constricted, feels a sort of an anxiety. So if your state is not the state of being constricted, then definitely it's not takalluf, meaning what the uneasiness that you're mentioning is different, it's adab. And the adab that you are, because you have, there's some adab and respect that you are presenting before somebody, doesn't mean that's takalluf, doesn't mean that the two hearts are not connected. Follow up. Because my heart desires, again he starts, that I don't do anything without asking you. But then I feel that your respect should be maintained. But this uneasiness and this hesitation that I feel in your presence, I also feel that this should go away. So he's sort of bought the same thing with a different angle, right? Now he's using the word jijak, means hesitation, right? Answer. Now this answer is gold. So, Sheikh first gave him a good answer, and then he goes, then when he came back with a similar, then he gave him a gold answer. Because listen, to ask is in your ability. It's something that it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you the ability to ask. It's ikhtiyar. It's in your ability to do or not to do. To ask a question or not to ask a question is in your ability. And nobody has asked you or nobody has prevented you from it. But adab and this uneasiness that you feel is not in your ability, not in your control. So opt what is in your control to ask the question, because that is what is your main goal, that you want to be at ease asking questions. So go ahead, ask your questions, and forget about those things that are not in your control. You get it now? You get it? Alhamdulillah. Anji.
Does it mean there might be some questions that Sheikh might not like the way he asked? And just told him just ask anyway, regardless how I feel or how I want to answer it.
Yeah, that's one thing. But remember that the person asking the question, he feels that he doesn't ask him many questions because he's hesitant in doing it. He feels uncomfortable, etc., etc., etc. So he goes, listen, feeling uncomfortable is not in your control, but asking a question is. So go ahead and ask your questions. You get it? It's in your control. Feeling uncomfortable is not in your control. Leave the uncomfortable feeling, and nobody's prevented you until somebody doesn't prevent you from asking questions. Then go ahead and continue asking, right? What does that tell you? Something very important, actually. What does that teach you? Yes, Muhammad. It teaches you what you are in control of. Agreed. What else does it teach you? Human psychology. Yes. Focus on the goal on hand. Yeah. Is that what you were saying? Did I? No. Sorry. I spoke ahead of you. You said focus on what?
Focus on what's in control and control.
Focus what's in your control, and don't focus on what's not in your control. Agreed. That's good. Yes.
So what happens? So when situation comes, it means that he is in the process of getting the goal. That's why he's been without control. So it means that he is nailed to Allah, and he's also entered in the process in reality. That's why it becomes
that could be there too. But the main thing is when a man makes 50 excuses, Muhammad, for himself. Man makes how many excuses? 50 excuses for his inability to achieve something. And sometimes the impediment is himself. A man is an impediment in his own path. A man is an impediment in his own success. You understand? And then when he, because of his laziness, or because of his lack of enthusiasm, he makes and finds excuses for himself. Understand? That's why with this answer, Sheikh removed those things. Because forget all that, focus, this is in your ability to do. Go ahead and do it. Nothing's preventing you. You yourself are preventing yourself from asking the question. But the Sheikh has taught something way more important than just the answer. A man is an impediment himself. He makes 50 excuses and justifies it for something that is in his own power to do, which he didn't do. Yes or not, Muhammad? I should have complained to your mom this week. Talk to me about this. Tell me about it. Tell me your own. Do you agree or not agree, first of all? Huh? You agree? MashaAllah. Who agrees? Who disagrees? If you agree with the 50 excuses, can anybody give me a live example on how we do that? Listen, it doesn't have to be personal, but just give me a live example. I'll take it personal, but that's different. Can anybody give me an example to further clarify the matter for everybody else? Who's going to be the... Say again. I don't have time for self-development, but in reality, you can make time. But then you make excuses for yourself not to do it, correct? Jazakallah khair. Anybody else give me an example? Yes, Aqeel. Those people that wish to enroll in the Alim program, and they make 50 excuses not to, and give me one of those excuses that they might make. I have family, but Aqeel, you don't. Okay. Okay. You know, I've got my children to look after. I've got my wife to look after, even though she's not here yet, and my children are not here yet. But in the future, I might have to look after them. So maybe I shouldn't join the Alim program. I mean, I'll take that. I'll take that as an answer from you. No problem. Huh? Money could be. A person say that he can't afford it, but there's 50 ways. Listen. Nobody has denied somebody an education because they can't afford it. Remember that. It's just the way you ask. It's the way you ask. Nobody's going to deny you an education because you can't afford it. It's the way you ask. Nobody's going to deny you the word of Allah just because you can't afford it. It's circumstances different, right? Now, what about the people who can afford it and they still don't pay? Happens, right? Happens all the time. Gee, what else? Give me another example, guys. Come on. The viewers at home demand one. Yes.
You know the benefits of
I know all the benefits of the remembrance of Allah, but I can't manage to be consistent. But go ahead, give the excuse. What excuse do you give to yourself? Priorities. I have this to do, I have that to do, I have children to look after, I have running after this, running after that, I have to watch the cryptocurrency, I have to watch the markets, this and yeah, that's a good excuse. Great excuse. Anybody else?
People that don't go to Hajj, but they have the money, but they don't go.
What's the excuse they come up with?
Working.
I'm working.
Yeah.
I'll go when I'm older.
Yeah, when they're older.
And the other excuse is, if I go for Hajj, I'll have to become a good person. So I'll go when I'm older, when I don't have the ability to do anything. Then I'll just go and ask all my forgiveness for all my sins at the end of my life, and I'll be done with. And he doesn't know that it's not the end. It all starts again.
And I told this kid, I said, if you got the money, you better go now. You don't know if you're gonna be healthy enough to go when you're older.
You don't even know that. You don't even know if you're gonna have the ability to go. But a man makes 1,000 excuses, right? All right. Anybody to do a day-to-day thing, like making excuses? Yes, Ismail. Bismillah. Let's share. Distance might be a problem, but you live down the road. Yes.
It's in your control to do it. So it sounds like it's just like when something's hard, right? You don't want to do it because it's hard. I think like everyone has like a certain level of anxiety. So the anxiety is like what you can't control. But if something's just hard to do and you don't do it and it's in your control, then that's your own fault.
Mm.
So that's how it is for me.
True. I mean,
I have anxiety.
you have anxiety on the Ali program?
No.
Huh.
Saying that like it's hard to sit every day and,
Yes.
and then to go through those things that you forgot. Or
But you know what makes it easiest, man? When we do it collectively. That's one of the benefits of doing collectively. That is easy. You buy a house close to these houses that are made. You buy one here, like close to the masjid. You sit after every Isha, muraqabah, khalas, done. Yeah, trust me. When you do it collectively, it's easier. Why do we do muraqabah after every Isha? That's a good idea. Just sit for muraqabah collectively. Everybody has to sit. I knew a sheikh actually. That I used to see him every day after Isha muraqabah. And some days he's sitting himself. Every day he's sitting. You know, like the way, our Tablighi brothers take the Fadail Amal and they sit in one corner and they'll read to themselves if there's nobody there, right? You've seen them. So I see him every day. So one day I saw a guy sitting with him. The next day, a few weeks later, I see another guy. A few months later, I see a couple of guys. And then eventually now the Majlis has actually become an official one. Right? So collectively does assist. But khair. But you get my point, right? Everybody gets the point. And you all know what excuses you make for your own selves, right? The actual topic of the lecture, which was time nearly run out for it, but was this. To believe, to have this aqidah, that my dua is not accepted. Now, aqidah is what does aqidah mean? Come on. Creed, belief. So the one is on us. This is not on, this could be on the belief, on the creed part. Or this one could be a whisper and a from shaitan, or a scruple in his heart. I don't think Allah accepts my supplications. You understand? Just a scruple in the heart. But let's deal with the scruple in the heart. The Aqidah will be dealt with alongside with that. Because Sheikh, my difficulty and my pain has increased to such a level that I have no patience. he might be in some pain. Due to some circumstance, either physical or emotional. That's not been specified, but it seems to be some kind of physical. I make astaghfar all the time. I seek forgiveness, make tawbah to Allah all the time, and I'm always crying to Him. But neither my crying is accepted by Allah, neither my tawbah is accepted by Allah, he says. Because this is this is his experience, right? So let's not deny him his experience, guys, before we say astaghfirullah. This is his experience and he's sharing it. All right. Tahqiq, answer. Do not think the crying and seeking forgiveness that is not accepted. To think like that is absolutely incorrect. That's the first. But then he gives him a logical answer. Number one, he says, do you think acceptance of your supplication is for your pain to disappear? Number one question. Do you think acceptance of your tawbah and astaghfar and your crying is for your pain to disappear? Number one. What if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving you something even better? A man is supplicating, Ya Allah, make my pain go away. How do you know you're not getting something better? Number two. So if you are getting reward, if your reward is being increased by the millions on one side due to your seeking forgiveness and your crying, do you think that we would still label this as not being accepted? You understand? Would you still say that your tawbah and astaghfar and your crying is not being accepted when you are getting so much reward on the other side? For example, and this has happened before, you go to some of these Middle Eastern airports, and usually the bathroom cleaners are from subcontinent, from different places of the world in the airports. And usually the tip is expected to be in the local currency, right? So for example, if the local currency is rupees, so he will be expected to be tipped in 10 rupees, 5 rupees a tip. He'll be happy. Now the guy gave him $10. He was asking for 10 rupees. The guy gives him $10. And he says, what am I going to do with this? What does he say? What am I going to do with this? I need rupees to spend here. I'll say, well, don't worry. One day it'll come in handy. One day it will come in handy. Now, when he asked for 10 rupees and he got $10, did he get better? Way better. Even you don't even know the currency at the moment rate. I think 1 rupee is 200 rupees. $1 is 200 rupees or something. Huh? Allahu Akbar. That's a great place to visit at the moment. $1 is 235 rupees. So $10 is 2,350 rupees. And he was asking for, and I gave him 10, but I gave him $10. When a person is making dua for something to happen and it's not happening, he's still getting, but in a different currency. And that currency way outvalues what you are asking for. Way outvalues what you're asking for. You understand? So number one, let me just finish this off and then we'll. So would you still say after receiving $10 that your dua has not been accepted? actually you are associating the acceptance of your supplication by on the basis of what you are asking for. Meaning, make my pain go away. And because your pain is not going away, you are now saying that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not listening to me. You have completely misunderstood the whole thing, how the system works. It's a concept. This is the concepts are very important. This to understand this concept. If you truly understand it, what it means, what else do we learn from here? What else do we learn from here? Something very important, guys. Even people at home, quickly text me. What else do you learn from here? Jazakallah. Say louder. Actually, a person should now increase his supplication because he now knows for sure that he's getting paid in dollars. But the dollar currency is in the hereafter, which far outweighs any currency in the world. A person should not stop asking from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So one of our homework today is, inshallah, you are going to increase your asking of Allah by 100%. By what? Not by 10%, not by 20%, but not by 30%, Ismail. The homework is to increase what you ask of Allah by what, Sayyid Jawed? 100%. How are you going to do that? Ask me how. Everything that you do, ask him. Everything. You're going to wash your car? Allah, wash my car. Allah, give me tawfiq to wash my car. You're going to go to the fuel gas station? You have money, you have your card in your pocket, right? Ya Allah, give me tawfiq to get some gas. Ya Allah, give me some gas in my car. I need gas. Everything you're going to start asking. Agreed or not? Now, the one who asks the most by the end of next week will get the most reward. You thought I was going to say something else. The one who asks the most by next Majlis will be the one who will have acquired the most currency by next week. Now, وَفِي ذَلِكَ فَلْيَتَنَافَسِ الْمُتَنَافِسُونَ. This is something worth competing in. Let's have a race. But we won't know the outcome of this race until we die. But let's have a race for 1 week. I'm not for 2 weeks, 1 week. Who's in? Who's in? Who's in this race? Sisters, are you in? Brothers, are you in? Race, are you in? Challenge. All right. By next week, by the deadline is Maghrib of next Tuesday. That's the race. And we are all competing against each other. Now, who can acquire the most currency in the hereafter by next week? And the only way to do that is to ask every single little thing from him. Now, are we going to do muraqabah now next? But we first have to ask, Ya Allah, give me tawfiq to do some muraqabah. Do you want to go out to the masjid? Ya Allah, give me tawfiq to walk out of this masjid with my own legs. Ya Allah, give strength in my legs, give strength in my feet. Give me some energy to walk to my car. You want to start your car? Ya Allah, allow the car to start. When you put it into gear, you want the reverse gear to kick in. Yes or no? What if it doesn't kick in? So I've just taught you how. So many things that you could just ask for from this point onwards till just to get home, you probably acquired a couple of million, right? So who's up for the challenge? We won't know the result until the hereafter. Truly, we won't. Who's gonna win? May Allah give me tawfiq to win. I'll tell you I might know who's the winner next week. Ask me how. I'll answer it next week. Answer it next week. Do you understand? Khair. Ya Allah, shall we go to the next question or not? Ya Allah, give me tawfiq to say the remaining. I'm already started my work. You better start yours. Ya Allah, you should be saying, Ya Allah, let him do muraqabah now. But I want to continue this because it's just one small question. Ya Shaykh, he goes, give me some wazifa, give me something to read. So that Allah take this pain away from me. Shaykh gives him an answer of gold now. You know, gold dust. You know, Shaykh, if you press him too much, it brings out something, right? Shaykh says to him, he goes, listen, for your pain to diminish, above that is to arrive at the station of to be content with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's decree. First, be content with Allah's decree. Whatever you are experiencing, understand it is from whom? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself. First, you need to do that. First, you will get the reward. And even if you get cured from this pain, you should continue supplicating. You should continue your supplication. Now, beyond this, what wazifa do you want me to prescribe to you? There's nothing to prescribe to you. I've already prescribed to you. Be content with Allah's decree. Without pain, with pain, continue making dua. What more can I give you as a wazifa to do? Actually, Shaykh gave him the wazifa. What did the Shaykh give him as wazifa? Continuously making dua. He thought Shaykh didn't give him one. Shaykh gave him this answer. Sometimes the solutions are very simple. Some people call us and read Durud Sharif. Everybody knows how to read Durud Sharif. I thought you're going to ask me to stand on one leg in Fajr and just before Tahajjud and recite something. I mean, that sounds like an amal, man. You know, people like to do something like, yeah, amal. Tomorrow, your Shaykh is nothing. My Shaykh, he told me like in the middle of the night, stand up, open the windows in a full moon, stand on one leg and recite Durud Sharif 100 times. And if I move my foot, I have to start again. That's a wazifa. That's a killer wazifa. Now, if you really want to do a killer wazifa, go ahead and do one. But making dua will provide the same effect. Making dua, Ya Allah, give us tawfiq to make dua. Ya Allah, give us tawfiq to make dua. Ya Allah, may give us the tawfiq to understand the reality of dua. Because we haven't understood it. Because had we understood it, then Ya Allah, we would ask everything of you the way the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us to do so. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that even if you need the laces to your shoes, which is something completely insignificant. Who asks for laces? A tie, a string to tie their shoes with. Who asks? Nobody asks. First ask from me and then do it. First ask from me, and that is the directive of the Messenger. So inshallah, in the next week, we are going to submerge ourselves in this directive of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What are we going to do? Submerge, drown ourselves in this directive of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and so that we can remind and we don't forget. Everybody is requested to remind each other. Don't forget to ask. Don't forget to ask. Make partners. Make partners right now. Make a partner, and the partner will remind each other. Make a partner. You two remind each other. Make a partner quickly. Aqil, Ismail. Make a partner. Everybody got one. You've got a partner. Now the stakes have increased now. I'm even taking away, like, just in case you fall into heedlessness, now you have a reminder around you. Yes or no? Inshallah, may the best man win. May the best man win. Everybody at home also, you also do it, inshallah. May Allah give you the opportunity to win. Is there anybody who's going to win who are listening? MashaAllah. One person says he's going to win. Well, the challenge is on, brother. The challenge is on. Ya Allah, give us the ability to remember you in muraqabah. That's the purpose, Ya Allah, that we're actually gathered here. People have traveled here, Ya Allah, from great distances. Not for me. Not for me. Ya Allah, they actually traveled here from the comfort of their home for you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ya Allah, when they close their eyes to remember, Ya Allah, give them, shower them with your mercy. May Allah, close your eyes. Remember Allah. لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله صلى الله.
कैसा चल रहा है आईटीयू का कवरेज चल रहा है मम्मा? बहुत आपको मुश्किल नहीं होता होगा वो कवरेज है ना, मुझे जाने पहचाने लोग पांडु की बड़ी जान निकलेगी। काय की सर्जरी हुई?
वालेकुम सलाम व रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू।